What really happened with Chris Pooh, Paul, and Willie Lampkin, and the Rams have unveiled their brand new Midnight Mode jerseys. We're also taking a look at the Rams schedule. How easy, how difficult is it? How many wins will they have in 2025? That's coming up next on the Locked On Rams Squad Show.
Whose house? Rams house. It's the Rams Squad. Sponsored by Gametime. Everything Los Angeles Rams every week. Breaking down all the big hits and game-changing plays from the City of Angels. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Here comes the Rampede. The Rams Squad Show starts now.
What is up, Ramily, and welcome to another episode of the Locked On Rams Squad Show. Your team every day. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. I've covered LA sports for over a decade, 24/7 Sports Bleach Report as SI. I also do NFL radio for Westwood One. And we've got another member of the Mob Squad, the most important member of the Mob Squad, the MVP of the Mob Squad, our franchise player, Michael Brockers. Brock is rocking with us. Gavin Carlson will rejoin him later in the week. He's got his new gig with the Warriors, something like that, which is awesome. Congrats to him. But he'll be rocking with us. And when we get the season going, we're going to get a good rhythm and we'll find a good time. But we've got lots to get into. It's a jam-packed show. The season is quickly approaching. The Rams have some new uniforms that they revealed just this morning. So we're getting into all that. We'll talk about some of these surprise kind of waiver stuff, and not only get to Brock's thoughts on Chris Pooh, Paul, and kind of what happened with that. But first, today's episode is sponsored by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. All right, Brock, so we'll get into the football stuff, but all the buzz right now, all the talk in Rams land is about the new jerseys, the Midnight Mode jerseys that the Rams revealed. I was telling you before the show, I was checking out your Instagram. You actually broke the news to me, actually, to be honest. I mean, I'm just chilling on the Instagram. I was like, I'm looking at Brock and like, oh, there they are. There they are. Super clean. You got the black. You got I like the detail, says Rams house kind of on the inside collar. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to rate these. These are clean. Like, I don't know. What do you give these out of 10?
Man, out of 10, I give them a 14, bro. Like, I wanted to wear a black jersey so bad. Like, I never got to wear a black jersey. I think I might have in high school, my last time wearing a black jersey. I just thought black looked so cool. You know, when you watch Friday After Night, Permy, and they're wearing the black and white. And I just thought wearing a black jersey would be awesome. And then they finally do it after I'm retired. But I have to definitely purchase a Rams midnight jersey soon because, you know, I just feel like they look awesome. So, yeah, I was highly excited when they let me get a little sneak peek. But I couldn't put it out until they put it out first. So once I seen the Rams post about, you know, the rival jersey, I was like, yeah, this is my chance to post on my story on, you know, my little sneak peek of, you know, the close up on the jerseys.
Yeah, how'd that all go down, Brock? Were you just like chilling kind of with the Rams and they just like, all right, this is just so happened to be the day we're kind of like doing like a photo shoot, or they just had that laying around? I mean, how'd that all go down? Just kind of getting a sneak peek, because that was weeks ago, right?
Yeah, that was weeks ago. Actually, I mean, I was invited to go back to LA. I was in the broadcast booth. That's the same week where I was in the broadcast booth and I jumped on the show right after in the stadium. So, you know, but I couldn't put out that, you know, the jerseys, what the jerseys look like and stuff like that until after the Rams, you know, showcased it. So, yeah, I showed up at the facility, man. They treated me like a legend, man. I go in the facility and they're like, hey, you want to see something? I'm like, what you got going? And they're like, oh man, come here. You would love this. So they went back, showed me the jersey. And I'm like, dog, that is crazy. That is sick. So got a little close up. I was like, can I film? They were like, yeah, you can film, but just don't put it on socials, you know, yet. You know, we're gonna, you know, do our whole spiel on how we're gonna announce it. And then after I seen that they announced it this morning, I was like, yes, it's a perfect time for me to, you know, showcase what my little sneak peek of what I got.
Yeah, if I had those pics, I would have sent it to like 15 of my friends, and I would have told each of them, hey, you can't send this to anyone. And somehow they would put it up on Twitter, you know, on Reddit. Like, bro, I told you not to say anything, type of thing. So nice job, just like keeping that top secret. Now, these uniforms will be used Week 16 against the Seattle Seahawks. They're also going to have a lot of gear and a lot of the jerseys you can get on September 10th, and also the helmets too. It looks like the helmets, same color scheme, but kind of like that matte look. Kind of that matte looking at the white numbers, the little perforation there. I mean, I think they look clean. I mean, my whole thing with like uniforms, if you're going to kind of drop something different, it's either you go throwback or you go crazy with it. You know what I mean? So like this is an opportunity to go crazy with it. I see some mixed reviews, but I think that's just like there's always going to be a faction of Rams fans that just kind of want to go back to those traditional Rams iconic uniforms that we saw like in the Eric Dickerson era. What's your take on that? Would you like to see him go just like full throwback, like permanently, or just kind of like what are your thoughts on just like the current Rams set?
I'm always on, let's do something new. Let's do something new, innovative. I kind of think the jerseys that they wear now are, it's kind of, they look like the throwbacks. They look similar to what the Rams used to wear. So I don't understand the conflict on, why people want, the exact jerseys from, years ago. I think the jerseys that they won the championship in, I think those emulate the jerseys that, the Rams were playing in back in the day. So for me, I'm all about new, innovative, something fresh, give the fans, something new to kind of have and to think about. Because like I told you before the show, I played in the mustard jerseys, man, the all yellow, the blue, and people were ripping us when we played. Who was it? Tampa Bay. It was like the mustard and ketchup bowl or whatever. When they wore all red, we wore all yellow. So, I played in that game and lived through that. So to actually have a jersey that I like, for the Rams to have a black jersey, it looks cool. It definitely looks a little intimidating. I think black just looks, really dope, on football players, especially, good team. And then, you got Devontae Adams. I just love the jerseys in itself. So I was excited for it. You can't make everybody happy, right? So yeah, somebody's gonna have to have an issue with it. But hey, the jerseys are nice in my opinion. So to each his own.
And jerseys always grow on you, right? It's like maybe on the first look, it's like too much for some people, but then like the more you see them, and then when they actually play in them and they win that game, like, oh, these are good luck. Yeah. These are awesome. And I will say, well, I wanted to, I want them to throw back the gold and navy from the St. Louis days. I mean, for me, like growing up, like when I was super young, my team in Madden was that Marshall Faulk team. Like if you were in LA, they had no NFL team. Like, okay, I got to pick anyone. It's gonna be that Madden team. And like that's what I think of when I think of those gold and navy jerseys with the gold and navy helmet. Like, were you feeling playing those?
I mean, I enjoy playing in that, man. I mean, that's what I kind of grew up in. That's what when they kind of changed over after they won the championship and they wanted to do something new and fresh, and they had those gold, the fresh gold and white and navy blue. That's what I played in, for the beginning of my career. So for me, that it would just be showcasing those teams back in the day. So I would enjoy it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, let's switch to some football topics. The first thing I want to get your take on is Willie Lampkin. So we talked about it on the show yesterday, just kind of the whole idea that when you place a player on the IR rate and you kind of got the designation where other teams aren't going to select him kind of out of respect, right? That seems to be kind of the case. He was so close to passing through waivers, but it was the Eagles, the last team that could have picked him up, ended up doing that. Is that an unwritten rule in the league that you kind of don't do it? The Eagles did, and kind of what are your thoughts on Willie Lampkin, this standout player? We talked about him being that hidden gem for the Rams, and all of a sudden he's playing for the team that beat you last year in the playoffs, and a team that's going to be one of your biggest opponents, your toughest competition for the next couple of years.
Man, teams do it all the time, man. The teams pick up guys from the previous, say you're going against a team, San Fran, and they let a guy go. Usually the Rams or another team who was about to play San Fran will pick that guy up, pick his brain for a couple of days. Hey, what did they teach you? What do you know? Things like that. And then, after a while, they'll send him on his way. I mean, I feel like he's a good enough player to make a roster. So I just think that was a move by the Eagles. Like, man, this guy, I'm not going to let this guy pass me up. If the Rams like him, they always draft really well. If the Rams like him, I think we should pick him up. So I just think, it was an opportunity that the Eagles couldn't pass up, man. When you get a good player, a young player like that you can develop, he already has that those initial things. He's has that low center of gravity. I don't want to say short. I don't want to disrespect him about saying short, but low center of gravity. Nobody can nobody can really get under his pads, things like that. And he showed you that he can dominate when his number is called. So for me, man, I just think it was the Eagles. They couldn't pass up on that opportunity. But those little unwritten rules, everybody doesn't have to abide by those. They don't want to. So hey, this was the chance for Eagles to get a good player, young player that they can end up developing in the future.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, it is kind of on the rare side, just kind of looking back. Anytime a team designates a player as a waived or an injured player, you don't often see that waived injured player get claimed. But that thing about the Eagles is, hey, last time I checked, everyone says the Eagles and Howie Roseman that they are becoming the model franchise in the NFL, that they're the best run team as far as roster construction, roster management. So if I'm the Rams, I'm thinking to myself, man, like we pride ourselves on being that team that can identify talent in the later rounds. So if there was going to be one team that was going to say, oh, wait a minute, we don't care he's 5'11", we don't care that he's a low center of gravity, right? Like we want to pick him up. So I don't know that if I know that Les Snead was probably punching air a little bit. You know what I mean? When that happened.
Oh yeah, he probably behind the line threw his phone down and all the kind of like these MFers, I can't believe they did that, So, but hey, man, it's all a part of the game, man. They're playing chess, not checkers.
It is what it is. I mean, definitely. And the other one too is Chris Paul. I mean, Chris Pooh Paul. A lot of people thought, okay, they trade up for him, they get him in the 5th round. His athleticism, his ability to go east and west, and kind of help the Rams in the run game at a position where. I mean, Ernest Jones, they gave away for pennies, and they just have not prioritized that position. Nate Landman and Sean Dolek and guys like that make the team, and Troy Reeder stays on the team. And I think that's what a lot of Rams fans have an issue with. I think that my take on it is kind of one of those things where it's like he passed through waivers. No one else claimed him. And then he ends up going to Seattle for their practice squad, which is interesting because a lot of times when a player doesn't get claimed, they're just going to go back to the practice squad of that team. But either he didn't want to be back with the Rams or we don't know, right? There's got to be something we just don't know about Chris Paul, and it just wasn't a good fit for whatever reason, it seems like.
I mean, when you got so many guys in front of you that they felt like we're going to make this team. You had Troy, you got Dolek, who was, running with the first team defense. And then, you want an opportunity to play somewhere. So as a player, if you're looking at, man, they only have, 3 linebackers, 2 linebackers or whatever, you can possibly make this team. I mean, you would probably make the business decision to say, hey, I'll go to Seattle rather than the Rams. They already have their 3 or 4 guys that they're going to rotate. Let me go to Seattle and have a better chance to play here, play some special teams, whatever, but make this roster. So it might have been a business decision by Chris Paul and his team, but for me, man, it's more power to you. You're on somebody's team, I think that's the best thing.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I think that's the big thing. I mean, we know that if they were going to invest some draft capital and trade up for a guy and they're not even going to have him make their initial 53-man roster, that they just felt that they just want to go in a different direction for whatever reason. And I will say, Brock, I mean, it does feel like this Troy Reeder kind of criticism by Rams fans, by people out there that say, oh, this guy shouldn't be on the team and this and that. I mean, you always got to have one. It feels like every fan base kind of has one punching bag, like one guy that's like, all right, this is the guy that we're going to hate on this week and this and that. I mean, look, he's not a future Hall of Famer, right? He's not Michael Brocker. He's not, all these guys that are, like stalwarts for this organization, foundational players for sure. But I mean, there has to be kind of those guys at the end of the roster. And I think special teams and just kind of what he does as far as, I think Sean McVay prioritize guys that are familiar with the organization if they don't see them as high upside development projects. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on just like Troy Reeder and just kind of all this hate he takes?
Man, I love the fact that, he goes out and just does his job. He doesn't really react to whatever the fans say. He just goes out and does his job. The fans have to realize that you need a Swiss Army knife. You need somebody that you can count on. If, 2 of your guys go down, he can come in and be that guy to, take some snaps. For the most part, he's going to be where he's supposed to be. Now, is he the biggest, strongest, most athletic? Probably not. But can you trust him to know his job, know what to do on defense, on special teams. Yes. So I feel like you always need a Swiss Army knife on your team. And that's what this guy does. You can throw him on kickoff, punt return. You can throw him on anything. Field goal block. Like, this guy does it all. So in order to have a guy that you feel like can do multiple positions, and people don't realize this is a business. You don't have to pay him as much as you could some of these other guys. So you have a Swiss Army knife that you can that's working off a vet minimum or whatever. This guy makes sense for this team. For me, it's a great choice for the Rams. Like you said, he's familiar with the team, familiar with the organization. They can trust him to be where he's supposed to be. He might not get, might not be the starter, but say if 2 of your guys go down in a game, you have a guy that you can immediately throw in and he's going to get the job done. So for me, it's all about, the best business decision for each organization. And it so happens to be Troy Reeder in this position.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, of course, like if he was a starter, it'd be a different thing, right? I mean,
Right.
Struggling with angles, kind of struggling in coverage. We know that could be an issue, but you need guys that you don't need to give playing time for them to develop, right? It's kind of like in baseball, you got to have that guy on the bench that's not going to be your everyday player. But if it's a rookie, he needs everyday at bats to try to get better, right? Reeder doesn't need everyday at bats, right? I mean, he just does his job, like you said. By the way, my dream though is just somehow, some way in the Super Bowl, he can have like a Mike Jones type of tackle. Like, it's always like the most random guy ever to make that play. Like, wouldn't it be hilarious if somehow some guy gets injured? It's Reeder tackle out the one, Kevin Dyson, Rams win the Super Bowl. So, like I said, you don't want to doubt these guys forever, and they'll be just fine. But coming up next, we got some more Rams talk. The season is fast approaching. What other questions do we have for this team heading into their first regular season game, September 7th, Houston Texans? That's coming up next on Locked On Rams. This episode of the Locked On Rams Squad Show is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is almost here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love FanDuel. I'm always using the FanDuel app. It's really easy. I like the stats, the info. We talked about MVP picks. We talked about the fact that the Rams are a plus 2,000 to win the Super Bowl. That's the 10th best odds. And FanDuel, it is the best way however you want to bet. You got player props. You can build a same game parlay or even jump in live as the game unfolds. So I love that too. You can jump into live game action as it's unfolding, and you can just really enhance your experience, in my opinion. And it makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. It's quick, easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to Sundays. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. And we are off and running here on the Locked On Rams Squad Show. By the way, big shout out to our everyday listeners out there, all the members of the Ramley. By the way, Brock, I don't know if you checked the comments, but you've gotten a lot of love in the comments for the last couple shows since you joined. All the Rams fans loving having you on here. So if you're new to the show, got a lot of new subscribers, a lot of new viewers, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, and join the Everyday Listeners Club. That's where you watch or listen to every single episode, Monday through Friday, and the post-game show after every Rams game. By the way, Brock, you're in Houston, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was talking to Mookie Betts on the Dodgers, and they were having this debate about what are the 4 major cities. Have you seen this on social media? It's like a big deal.
Man, I have it, man. You got to explain it to me. Talk to me.
So basically, it's the funniest thing ever. Like everyone's debating like what are the 4 major cities, and I think 3 are locks, right? New York, LA, Chicago, and then everyone's debating what the 4th major city is. I mean, a lot of people think it's DC because it's the nation's capital, right? Some people think it's Miami. It's like an international city. Some people think it's San Francisco. A lot of people think it's Houston. I don't know. I feel like the 3 are locks, and then the 4th one you can just debate, right? I think the 4th one's kind of interchangeable, but I don't know. You're in H-Town. It's a huge city. Does it feel like it's the 4th major city? I want some ammo for this debate is basically what I'm saying, Brock.
Man, the fact that you have LA, New York, and Chicago, I like that because Chicago, you get that feel. You're off the water. You're in the city, but you see water, so you kind of get that feel. For me, I'm biased. I would have to say it's Houston. You have a bunch of places to eat. We have a bunch of things you can do. We have all the major sports organizations. Say you come out here for a weekend, and you're baseball. You're playing a couple of games back to back to back. Man, you can catch a Rockets game. You can catch a football game. You have a bunch of entertainment. The nightlife is crazy out here. So for me, man, I would have to go with Houston. The food, come on, like you want to eat. Let's be real. You'll come to Houston to get some food. So for me, I'm biased to my city. I think Houston definitely has to be in that top 4 for sure.
Yeah, and population too. It's like a huge city, right? It's like gigantic. I think Houston's a safe bet. By the way, so my grandparents lived in Sugar Land, Texas, which is right outside of Houston, and I would go there a lot. Like every summer, spring break, I'd visit them a ton. And of course, I got an LA dude, Dodgers guy, right? So I went to Houston as a baby, and they took me to they say like Sears, JCPenney, they take like the baby pictures there, like back in the day. They took me there and put me in a full-blown Astros uniform.
Wow.
Like the full-blown Astros thing, and they still have it to this day. And, the Dodgers Astros thing, I'm like, dude, my grandparents could straight up get me canceled, in Dodgers land. So, my point is, I've been to Houston a bunch of times. The food is crazy. The barbecue is crazy. All it's a super diverse city, too. Like Mexican food, Indian food. It's like, it's good time. So I'm with you on that. But it's just funny. I'm telling you, ask your friends about it. Everyone's talking about this. Like, what are the 4 major cities? All that matters to me is that LA is one of them. So that's
right.
That's cool with me. But all right. So jumping here into this next segment here, we got Rams Texans. It's coming up, and I think kind of the first thing I want to get into, just on a general level, last couple of seasons, Brock, this team has kind of gotten off to some slow starts, and then they've really had to pick it up later to make that playoff push. Now they really do have an opportunity early on in this season to get off to a good start. I mean, you got the Texans, you got the Titans. Of course, Eagles on the road is going to be hard, but you got the Colts at home, then the 49ers at home. But I want to start by asking you, as a player, do you look at the schedule and count wins, or do you say, no, this is the NFL. Any given Sunday, you can't take an opponent lightly based on their roster. Right? Do players look at kind of strength of schedule, or is it just no? Like, that's not the mindset. I'm just curious.
No. I mean, you're playing in the NFL, man. It's like you said, it's any given Sunday, man. You can come out there and you think, we're playing the Jaguars, and you think, oh man, it's gonna be a light day. Then they come out, hit us in the mouth. First series, they score a touchdown. We're like, oh, okay, we need to wake up, So it's never that easy in the NFL. You should never look at, your schedule or see you got a team that you feel like is, isn't as good as you or whatever, and you feel like, oh, it's going to be a light day, I'm going to just take this one off. No, these guys get paid too. They're playing for their family. They're playing for a lot of things out there. And for me to sit up here and say as a player that that we look at the schedule would be, I would be lying to you. So it's every week. It's week after week. You don't really look down the line at the schedule at all, besides of, hey, are we playing on Christmas? Are we playing on Thanksgiving or something like that? For the most part, you're looking at, hey, week by week, who am I focusing on? Because I can't think about who I'm going against now and then focus on who I'm playing against next week, So it's all about week-to-week basis. Who is my opponent? Who am I going against this week? How can I execute the best this week? Because, next week you don't know. It's not promised. So, yeah, every week it's a week-by-week thing for the players.
And I do like the fact that, we saw going up against the Lions, right? And you kind of start 0-1. And we know that week 1 lies, right? I mean, you see teams that get these surprise wins and then they're kind of not that team throughout the year. But early on this season, I do think, Texans, Titans. I know I say I don't want to count these wins, but Texans, Titans, Eagles, I like when the Eagles game comes because, one, you're not playing them late. When it's cold, we saw the division round with all the snow. And look, is a Super Bowl hangover a thing? That kind of stuff. And I think too, it's a great barometer for the Rams to try to make a statement early on. Oh, would you agree with me? Week 3 Eagles, that's must see TV for sure.
Oh, for sure, especially for this Rams team, this young team. I know they remember what happened last year. They knew they were so close from being in another Super Bowl. So for me, I think this year, I would say a sophomore group. We don't count guys like Matthew Stafford. They've been playing forever, but man, the defensive line, guys like that, secondary. Man, this is a sophomore group. Man, they want to put it together this year. I truly feel that they were so close. They definitely want to go back out there and showcase what they have. And then you got Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams, these added pieces. Man, you want to show like you want the big dog in the NFC now. So, winning these first couple of games and then going into the Philly 2-0, I think that'd be awesome for this team.
Yeah, I totally agree, Brock. It feels like that would be the perfect game to make a statement and say, like you said, like we were good, we were great. Now we think we have a chance to win a Super Bowl. And I think that a big win on the road with Devontae Adams, having 100 yards, a couple touchdowns, and Puka, and just kind of showing a complete win could kind of launch you for the rest of the season, give you confidence that, hey, we were up there with the big boys in the sport. Then a couple weeks later, you have the 49ers on Thursday Night Football. And we know that Sean McVay and Shanahan's had the upper hand the regular season. McVay has the one win that really matters, and that was in the 2021 NFC Championship game. But I want to ask you, how does that turnaround impact you going and playing on a Thursday? And just what do you remember from playing on Thursday Night Football games?
After Sunday, everybody's in the hot tub. Everybody's in the cold tub, hot tub. You have a Thursday game coming up. You're in a hot tub, cold tub. And I love the fact that McVay, if you have a Thursday game, he's not going to beat you up, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He's going to take it very lightly, man. Shorts and helmets. Guys are just moving, just mentally up top. What is the game plan? How can we execute the game plan? Because I know, you just got from a game Sunday and you got to get beat up again on Thursday. I'm going to take a little pressure off you. I'm going to take some of the, the mileage off your joints and things like that. We're going to have light practices 3 days in a row, and then we're going to go out here and execute on Thursday. So I love the way that Sean handles it. He doesn't go out there and, beat you up. Maybe you lose a Sunday game and beat you up on Tuesday because of what happened, last game. It's all about, hey, we're going in Thursday. Whatever happened, this last game happened. Get the film corrected on Monday morning. Then Monday evening, we're putting in a new game plan already. So, hey, let that go. We're focusing on Thursday. So Sean does an amazing job. Him and his staff does an amazing job at making sure the guys are ready for game day.
And sometimes you get those kind of like semi-bye type things, but no, this is a true turnaround. September 28th against the Colts, and then you've got Thursday Night Football 4 days later on September, and on October 2nd against San Francisco. And we all know that, hey, that's a rivalry game. That's a true rivalry game, right? And we know that 49ers team is trying to have a bounce back year. So another chance to make a statement. Eagles, you do it for the whole league. 49ers, you do it for your division, saying, okay, we're going to plant our flag. This is our division now. How does the body feel early in a Thursday Night Football game? You mentioned the prep and just kind of having the installs a little lighter and kind of just getting ready from that standpoint. But do you kind of feel it early in games, or by the time Thursday goes, the adrenaline's pumping and you're just in another football game?
Oh, yeah, you're just in another football game. It's like a out-of-body experience, you just played the game Sunday, but then you're in this game, so you can't even think about what just happened. You have to focus on what's ahead of you. So for the most part, man, guys aren't thinking about, their body, man. They're getting themselves ready to go, doing whatever they can to be ready on Thursday.
Yeah, for sure. And then what I like about it, too, is then you get the extended rest heading into Baltimore, which is one of the toughest games on the schedule. I think that there are teams where, hey, they could go this way, they go that way. Baltimore feels like they're good every year, and they're really good at home. One of the games of the year was the Rams in Baltimore in the rain, almost beating Lamar Jackson in that group. But you got more time off on October 12th, week 6 against the Ravens. That one's going to be another massive test for the Rams. And then they go to London to play the Jaguars. And what are your thoughts on just kind of that London, that international travel, what that feels like?
Like for me, I played in London 4 times with the Rams. So there was always a hassle. It was always something like you love the experience, especially like your first time going. You like, oh man, I'm going across water, international. I want to see new things. But if you do it 2 or 3 times in a row, it's like a hassle. the food is different. You're trying to find something to eat similar to what you eat in the States. Nothing's really readily available. You're in a hotel resort, all week, and where we practice, they don't have grass that you usually practice, at home. Everything is very slippery. You have to change your studs and your cleats because it's all like soccer fields. It's soccer field that they're, transitioning into football fields. And then you're like, oh my gosh, we're here all week. So for the most part, for the guys that never been, they're excited, they're elated. For the guys that been there 3 or 4 times, we're like, when is this trip going to be over? I remember one year we played Cincinnati. And, I think we beat the crap out of Cincinnati just because we're mad. We're ready to go home. I don't think it was nothing. It wasn't nothing personal, but it was just like, bro, we have to beat you because next step is going home after this. So we went out there, handled business, and a lot of guys were ready to get on that plane back home.
It's an angry win against the Bengals because you guys are ready to bounce. I love that. No, it's interesting, Brock, because I thought the same thing. I mean, you see these soccer fields for Premier League soccer, and it looks beautiful, right? The grass looks perfect, but it also looks like it's slip and slide out there. It looks like it's moist kind of on the top there. So yeah, no, I totally see that. And also too, I noticed when they show the crowd, it's like, even if it's full, it's like they're cheering at different times. They're not engaged the same as NFL football fans. I mean, what was it like to kind of play in front of that crowd and the kind of the difference that feels like?
You know what? It's a little different, but I feel like you don't expect London and people from the UK to really be in tune with national American League, American League football. And then you go out there and you see all type of jerseys. I mean, nobody's actually rooting for you. It's like they're rooting for football, the NFL and things like that. So you see all type of jerseys in the stands, from LA to San Fran to, all the guys on the other side, Philly. You'll see all type of jerseys. So for the most part, man, guys are, the fans over there are just rooting for NFL football. They're not rooting for you specifically. So like you said, there's no, the only time you hear somebody cheering is for touchdowns. Nobody understands, a sack or interception or anything like that. The only time they really cheer is for a touchdown, in my opinion.
Yeah, they'll show someone in the crowd and they'll be wearing a Rams jersey, a Bengals hat, a Jaguars scarf, Dolphins ear. Yeah, they have no idea what the heck. It's good times though, and it's good definitely good for the game. And you guys are really one of the teams that are out doing it. So that's awesome to see. Then you get the bye week, and then there's the stretch. You got the Saints at home, Niners on the road, Seahawks at home, Buccaneers, a nice little stretch of games kind of in the middle there. And then you finish off and you have a chance, I think, really finish strong too against the Lions at home is going to be an interesting one. Do you think that the Lions at home, week 16, week 15 Lions at home, December 14th. Do you think that's a legit rivalry at this point? I mean, it might be temporary, but it feels like as far as matchups that you want to see in the NFL, Lions versus Rams, based on how those games play out, some of the best football we have today.
I mean, to be honest with you, that has to be a legit rivalry game, just for the fact that, the history, the trade, Matthew Stafford, winning the championship immediately the next year, Jared Goff continuing to get better. Then all of a sudden he's a guy winning games. I think he beat the Rams twice already since he's been in Detroit. So for me, I know personally, that should be a rivalry game. But right now, we're going to say it's a rivalry game with the history of the trade and the move, and seeing hey, man, obviously we traded quarterbacks. Let's see who the best team, let's who made the best decision. And I think, too, leading into the playoffs, this is a playoff experience. You want a good team. I feel like the Lions are going to be good. I know this is a Rams show, but I feel like the Lions are going to be really good this year in NFC. So it's going to give you that playoff experience. It's going to give you that playoff feel going into the playoffs in the next couple of weeks. So for me, this will be a great test for this young Rams team to get their mind ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, playing meaningful football against a quality opponent late in the season, I think that, I'm not on the gridiron like you, but it feels like just kind of getting those juices flowing for what's to come could be really big. And then you got the Seahawks on Thursday Night Football, and then you got the Cardinals Any thoughts on Cooper Kupp on the Seahawks and just kind of how that feels to not have him on the Rams, but also kind of have him on the team that's in the division that you competed with for so many years? It's going to take getting some used to. It's going to take a lot to get used to that.
Yeah, for sure, and that's always a big rivalry, man. You know, I don't know what hate is such a strong word. I highly disliked the Seahawks when I was playing. So obviously, as a Rams fan, you know, you don't want the Rams to go out there and, you know, put a smacking down on the Seahawks. And unfortunately, you know, he went to a division rival, and that's just going to have to happen. I mean, you know, guys get traded every day in this league. So it is what it is, you know, but, you know, I'm definitely pulling for the Rams to pull that one out for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a dub. The over-under for the Rams wins this season.
I love it.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the over-under for the Rams 9.5 wins this season. They have on paper the 16th easiest schedule. I don't know how much you buy into that. I think we talked about it earlier. You just never know. Every year there's teams that are going to be better than you thought, and there's going to be teams that they're going to be worse than you thought. I mean, like the Bengals last year. I mean, you just never know. But I think it's safe to say we both think the Rams are going to win more than 9.5 games. I've got the Rams winning 11 games in the regular season.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're prepared, and I feel like I trust this coaching staff to be prepared for any situation. A lot of games are not just won by blowouts. A lot of games are won in situations. And then one thing I know about Sean McVay and his staff, they're going to be prepared for every situation. So 2-minute drills at the end of the game, you know, things like that at the end of the half, points that people don't really realize that are meaningful, maybe getting some points before halftime, getting a kick or, you know, touchdown before halftime, things like that, points that mean something at the end of the game, you know, that you don't even realize, like, dang, you know, how did we lose by 1? Oh, we missed that kick, or, you know, they scored before half. Those points, you know, end up, you know, either biting you or helping you towards the end of the game. And I know for the most part, Sean McVay and his staff is always prepared for situations.
They're going to be ready to roll. You give this team 90%, 95% health, and I'm confident that they win this division. They're going to be in that handful of teams that can legitimately win a Super Bowl. All right, let's finish it on this one, Brock. In your time as a Rams player, the theme of this show has been uniforms. What has been your favorite Rams uniform combination to play in your time playing for this organization?
So my favorite combination, it's probably gonna be a funky one for the viewers. So they allowed, when I was there, we're picking, the players are picking the jerseys, right? The players are picking, and when they came out with the new jerseys, they had the little bone color, right? So I didn't really like the full bone, you know, bone on bone type jersey. I was like, it's kind of disgusting. So for me, it was like the blue on bone with the bone pants, the blue jerseys with the bone pants, with the blue socks and blue shoes. I thought that was a dope combination, just kind of mix and matching those two. I didn't really like the blue on the yellow pants, but the blue on the bone pants with the little yellow strip on the side, I kind of felt like that was like one of my dopest combinations.
So I'm really glad I asked you this, because if you had asked me to guess what your favorite Rams uniform combination was, I would probably be at like a 30 right now before I got to the blue on the bone. That would be like one of the last ones I would guess, but I've seen that, and it's unique. I mean, the bone, I didn't like the bone at first, you know, but like I warmed up to it. I kind of like the all bone a little bit more than I used to, but when you kind of mix it up, I mean, the blue always just looks so good with like anything, but then you kind of, I think it makes the blue pop more when you got the bone on the pants, right? So yeah, super clean stuff. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Rams Squad Show. We'll be back with you a little later in the week. For sure, if you don't already, I'm pretty sure you already do, go follow Michael Brockers at mbrockers90. You can also follow him on IG, on X. We have that all down below. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. Until next time, whose house? It's Ram Squad House.